Welcome to the Cool Reviews. Step into the scene where the voices stay loud and the vibes stay clean. Talking sports, love, life, what's making the news. If it's happening right now, it's on the Cool Reviews. Welcome to the Cool Reviews. Yeah, we bringing the truth from the streets to the screen, giving game to the youth. Every story, every take, every win, every bruise. Come and vibe with the world on the Cool Reviews. Welcome to the Cool Reviews. Yeah, the mic stay live, where the real conversations help the culture survive. From the sideline talk, and down the wins and losses and the post-game views. He be out with the people.
Welcome to the Cool Reviews. Tonight is fight night. Tonight is debate night. Yo, I'm gonna let the two contestants, the two debaters, hey, we in for a heavyweight fight tonight. So with no further ado, hey, we gonna let them introduce themselves and we finna get it cracking. Let's go.
Whitelow, Sean Whitelow here.
Y'all know it. It's your boy, Jason from jasonlwest.com.
Oh, man. So before we get into this debate, what is the reason why? What is the reason behind doing this debate? What what points are we trying to get across? You know, what is the basis of this debate tonight?
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, y'all, as y'all know, we do a live on this channel every Wednesday night at 8:30. So my opponent here, some kind of way, we end up challenging each other on each other's views pretty often, pretty regular. So we've been deadlocked on about 4 topics that we're gonna cover tonight. So we decided instead of talking over one another like we do on the show, we're gonna settle this once and for all in a formal debate. And my purpose is not to convince my opponent, is because I don't believe that's possible. He got his mindset. He held bent on what he believed. The purpose for me is to educate the viewers.
All right.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the same here as Jason. The purpose is more or less trying to put information out there. Me and Jason been friends, and I want people to understand too. Me and Jason are friends. We're not. We actually know each other. So sometimes it may seem like we don't like each other. Maybe that's the impression that some people may get, but that's not what it is at all. Me and Jason are friends. So I just want to make sure we understand that. And like Jason said, to caveat what he just said, more or less to get the information out and bring awareness. So that's it.
All right. Is systematic discrimination intentional racism? I guess the first category, trees in the urban communities.
No, we're gonna do the AT&T.
We're gonna go AT&T first?
Yeah, we're gonna do the AT&T thing. We're gonna that's the appetizer, that's the small fish to fry here.
Okay, so first we're gonna start off by talking about AT&T. Let's go.
All right. We're gonna talk. We had a situation with the AT&T Stadium a while back that me and Jason had discussed. So we're gonna bring some clarity. He said that the public had a vote. I'm standing on no. So here we go. My opponent was saying, go ahead.
2 minutes.
No, it's got to be longer than 2 minutes. We said 3 to 5.
Okay, so the first round, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. I'm gonna give him 5 minutes.
No. Remember on this topic we're gonna do 2 minutes. Remember?
Okay, so you know what? We'll go in between 3 and 3.
Right, 3 and 3.
All right. So what I'm gonna do? Set timer for 3 minutes. Let's go.
My opponent will stand before you today and claim that the cities of Arlington decided to build AT&T Stadium on November the 2nd, 2004. It is a convenient narrative. The idea of a city coming together to choose its future. But if you look at the legal timeline and the official documents, you will find that the decision was a ghost. The public didn't act as the architect, they acted as the ATM. The decision to build was finalized in August of 2004, months before a single vote ever stepped into the polling booth. Two, the master agreement, the real birth of the project. To understand this, we have to look at the master agreement signed on August 2004. This wasn't a suggestion or a proposal. This was a binding legal contract between the city of Arlington and the Dallas Cowboys. In this document, the city council and Jerry Jones locked in every critical detail, the specific 100-acre site, the $2 million annual rent, and the city's $325 million contribution cap. The council didn't ask the public, should we build the stadium or where should it go? They negotiated those terms behind closed doors by the time the master agreement was signed in August. The project was a finished product. The destination was already programmed into the GPS. The November vote was simply a request for the public to pay for the gas. The smoking gun. The eminent domain letters, if you still believe public held the power of decision, I ask you to consider the 150 families who, if you still believe that the public held the power of decision, that the people that lived in the path of the stadium. If the decision hadn't been made until November, why were these homeowners receiving official letters in September, 2 months prior to the vote, stating that their land was needed for the project? You do not send notice of displacement for a project that might happen. You do not open up land acquisition office as the city did for a project that is still up for debate. The city council used the authority of the master agreement to mark those homes for destruction before the first ballot was even printed. For those families, the decision wasn't a vote in November. It was an eviction notice in September. My opponent would argue that the public vote was required by law and therefore the public held the ultimate yes or no power. But let's be honest about what the vote actually was. It was a manufactured ultimatum. The city and the Cowboys spent over $5 million, 100-to-1 spending advantage over the opposition to seal the deal that was already signed. They bundled the project authorization with tax increases into a single take it or leave it proposition. The public wasn't given the power to negotiate the lease or move the site. They were told to accept the council's August deal or lose the Cowboys forever. That isn't a democratic decision. It's a financial hostage situation. My conclusion is, in summary, the legal authorization of the taxes happened in November, but the political and executive decision to build that happened in August. When a city council signs a master agreement, select a site, and sends out eminent domain letters to seize private property before an election, they have already made the decision. They seek public guidance. They sought the public's checkbook. The voters of Arlington didn't decide to build a stadium. They were simply asked to sign the bottom line of the contract in August.
So do I rebuttal or do I just do my spiel?
No, you go ahead now, Jason.
Do I do my spiel or do I rebuttal?
No, you go ahead and do your claim.
Yeah, do your spiel.
Okay. That was pretty good, Sean. Yeah, I didn't expect that, man. But you know, there's not going to be the first time when contracts or met, when they meet for new contracts, stuff like that. That don't mean there's many times when a contract is already written out and everything before. And how many times there have been contracts? Am I supposed to be rebutting or do I just need to do my spiel?
I thought you were going to do your spiel and then come back and rebuttal.
Oh, okay. So, you threw me off with that. Hold on. So, at the end of the day, my claim is that he said that specifically that they didn't have a say in the matter. You know, right here on November the 2nd, 2004, voters were asked to approve a series of tax increases to cover the city's $325 million contribution toward construction. Construction has not started yet. Oh, I ain't gonna rebuttal yet. I'm going. The referendum passed with approximately 55.2% of the vote in favor and 44.8% against it. Voter turnout, more than 111,000 ballots were cast, representing over half of the city's registered voters at the time. Approved funding. By voting yes, residents agreed to a half-cent sales tax increase, a 2% hotel occupancy tax increase, and a 5% car rental tax increase to fund the stadium bonds. The stadium opened in 2009 due to higher than expected tax revenue. The city was able to pay off its portion of the debt in August 2025, 10 years ahead of schedule. There have been, so in this case, the city respected the voters and gave them a say in the matter. But there are some cases, as in the case in Minneapolis with the Viking Stadium, they didn't have no say in that because they bypassed the citizens on that one, and they bypassed the vote altogether, and they built the stadium, and the citizens were outraged behind that, and their claim was that it was well, actually the city council was against it at first. Then they came back and changed their mind, and the mayor and the city council decided to go ahead and push through with it without the citizens being involved. So they do have procedural power to do it without the vote. But the argument was whether the AT&T Stadium, whether the citizens of Arlington had a say in the matter or not. That was the argument. And they did vote, put it on the proposition on the ballot, and asked the voters, or they would approve the 2% tax rate, and a $325 million contribution toward the construction. And the voters voted yes. So my argument was initially that did the citizens of Arlington, we talk about a specific situation, have any say? My opponent claimed they had no say in the matter.
You done? You done with your claim?
Yes.
All right, so we get a 1 minute rebuttal each person. Cool reviews.
Yes, sir. You ready?
Okay, I'll go first with my rebuttal if that's okay. If that's okay with you, Jason.
Well, yeah, because I just went to go ahead and rebuttal.
Okay. All right, my rebuttal to what you said. Before November, they had a master agreement plan already in place in August, 3 months prior to, and they were sending eminent domain letters out. They were sending eminent domain letters out, and when you're sending eminent domain letters out, that's no option. That's not an option. All that ballot in November was hey, are you gonna pay for? You're gonna write the check. This is the check. We need you all to sign the check. You all are just the ATM. The decision was already made in August to do it between the city of Arlington and the Dallas Cowboys higher up. And when it came to the polls in November, hey, this is what we decided on. We just need you all to approve the taxes that we're going to charge you all to pay for the debt. I conclude my rebuttal, Cool Reviews.
Hey, that was right at 1 minute. You good? All right. So, are we still on the AT&T Stadium, or do
I
we?
thought Jason was going to rebuttal. I thought Jason was going to rebuttal. Are you?
Okay.
Huh?
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. I'm starting the timer. There you go.
So at the end of the day, the original argument was, did the voters have a say? So when they go to the polls and the proposition is on the ballot, then that means that they had a say in the matter. They voted for the taxes. These are taxes they got to pay out of their own pocket. They voted to have their taxes raised, and they agreed to pay more taxes so that the stadium could be built there. So at the end of the day, they had a say. Now, whether the government was going to go and jack them with, even if they voted no or not, that's a different argument. But for them to say they didn't have a say when it was on the ballot and they cast votes, okay, so it's hard for you to say they didn't have a say when they actually had a vote. It was on the ballot. Now, there's many times when there's contracts in work, the contracts don't go through. So, as far as its eminent domain letters, I don't know about the eminent domain letters. I can't talk on that.
All right. The 1 minute timer is up. Hey, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all see the timer on the screen?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can't see it. Oh, yes, I do. I see it. I see it. Cool reviews. I see it. I see it. Yes, I do. I do see it. I see it.
All right, bet.
So next topic is which one do we decide?
Okay. Is systematic discrimination, intentional racism, trees in urban communities?
So trees, Jason, I guess you go first this round.
Now, this round is 3 or 5 minutes.
3 to 5. 3 to 5 minutes.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, go ahead.
Let's get ready to rumble, and your time starts now.
So, there in the inner city urban community, there's a disparity of tree canopy. So we all know that trees help produce the quality of our air that we breathe. Okay, so the cities they intentionally plant trees for that purpose, not only for the greenery and scenery, but also for the air quality. However, in inner city marginalized communities, there's a lower number of trees planted and not enough trees. Well, it's compared to the suburban communities. So this is cause of what they call a disparity. And there's been cases that people challenge this, or people challenge this, and they come and they're saying that there be unequal inequality, that that the inner city marginalized communities are not being afforded the same quality air because they're not been having them nice amount of trees. So they call the 330-300 rule. They had to establish so that they required to you're supposed to be able to look out your window, see 3 trees. The 330-300 rule offers benchmarks for cities to promote equitable nature access. It dictates that individuals should see 3 trees from their dwelling, have 30% tree canopy in their neighborhood, and live within 300 miles of high quality green space. This has not been seen in a lot of inner city communities, so it's been challenged. But my opponent's claim is that this is the reason why there's not enough trees planted in the inner city community is because the powers that be intentionally want to harm Black and brown people so that they'll be sicker and go to the hospital more so that it can make more money off of them at the hospital. I challenge that, and I believe it's because, what I looked up is because of the price of to plant the trees, maintain the trees, and it's not covered by the community. The community does not generate the type of income that the suburban communities generate, and they also meet the challenge of space. The inner city's got a lot of concrete, power lines, and things of this nature, and they have to find space to plant so many trees, and it's so congested with concrete, power lines, and all this. So it proposes a problem for the city and the county to make sure the trees are planted. The revenue is not there to make sure the trees are planted, and it's basically for one small tree, it can cost anywhere from $150 to $500 to install and maintain. The average professional planting about $540 to $645 per tree. Urban street tree programs about $500 to $3,500 per tree. In New York City, the average is about $3,300 per tree when planting, sidewalk work, and maintenance are included. They have to cut sidewalks or pavement, check underground utilities, improve soil, stake and water trees for several years, guarantee survival for 2 to 3 years. Urban forestry researchers often estimate thousands of trees per square mile to create adequate canopy. If a neighborhood needs, so basically, it's all about the money. It's not about racism. Go ahead.
All
Good
right.
points. Good points. Good points.
Now it's time for you to give your rebuttal.
My claim. I'm gonna make my
Your
claim, and then
claim.
Jason's gonna make his rebuttal.
Okay, to your claim.
Right. I'm gonna do
All
my
right.
claim, and he's gonna make a rebuttal to my claim.
All right. And go.
I got 5 points I'm going to make. The neutrality myth. My opponent will argue that the tree cover is a simple matter of current municipal budget and property values. This is a confident myth because it suggests the problem is purely mathematical. But the data shows that even when income is identical, the shade is not. This isn't a resource gap, it's a design gap. You don't get 33% less tree coverage by accident. You get it through decades of an intentional, documented exclusion. The evidence, the redlining ghost. The strongest evidence of intentional discrimination is the Homeowners Loan Corporation. Maps from 1930s, we have the receipts. Federal officials literally drew red lines around Black neighborhoods, labeling them hazardous. In 2002, study by Hoffman, Sanders, and Pendleton published in Climate Analyzed 108 U.S. cities, they found that 94% of formerly red-line Black areas are significantly hotter and have less tree canopy today than green-lined white areas. These neighborhoods aren't treeless because because they are poor today. They are treeless because the government codified them as areas where investment should not happen. Today, lack of trees is the living ghost of that intentional map. The maintenance cost. If the argument is that maintenance is too expensive, we must ask for whom? Cities routinely find the budget to maintain ornamental landscapes in the white commercial districts and suburbs. Research from the American Forest shows that the tree equity score is consistently lower in Black neighborhoods, even when those neighborhoods have a rising tax base. The findings. A study in the Journal of Agriculture found that the municipal service requests, like trees, pruning, are addressed faster in white neighborhoods. This isn't a lack of resource, it's a discriminatory distribution of existing resources. The infrastructure as a weapon argument. Trees are infrastructures just like pipes or roads. Historically, when cities built highways, the urban renewal area, they intentionally routed them through Black neighborhoods. This didn't just cost money. It physically removed land where trees could grow by replacing soil with heat-absorbing asphalt. The government made a choice to prioritize white commuters' speed over Black residents' health. You cannot fund your way out of a neighborhood that has been paved over by design. The conclusion of what I'm saying, to say this about funding is to ignore the last 100 years of American history. If a city can find the money to pave a road through a neighborhood, it has the same money to plant a tree. The fact that it didn't is a choice. We're not overlooking a budget deficit. We're looking at a justice deficit. And until we acknowledge that the lack of shade was a policy, we will never fix the checkbook. Hoffman J.S. Sanders v. and Pendleton, 2020, the effects of historical housing policies, resident exposures in intra-urban heat, a study of 108 U.S. cities provides redlining caused today's heat and tree gaps. American Forest Tree Equity Score. Their national database proves that race is a stronger predictor of tree cover than income in the majority of U.S. cities. The McDonald RI established in 2021, the tree proximity gap published in the Nature Communications. This study specifically quantifies that neighborhoods of color have less tree canopy regardless of income levels. Zhu and Zhang, 2008, in the Journal of Agriculture and Applied Economics, research showed that public spending in environmentally statistically frequently prioritize white neighborhoods over black.
All right, Jason.
All right. So you said that even in the if it's the same income, that it's still disparity with the trees. But even if it's the same income, it still costs them more to plant trees in the inner city community because the greenery, the canopy is not there. The space to put trees, they have to bust up concrete, remove around power lines. They have to do a lot of structural and logistics to plant trees in the inner city. So it's still even if they got the same amount of income, which they usually don't, and that's proven. You just said that a while ago. You said that the black community make less money, but in most cases where we have this, they don't generate the same amount of tax revenue. So, but in the cities or in the small spaces where you do find and make the same amount of income, then they still have the challenges of the costly challenges that they meet in order to plant these trees in the inner city. You go down, there's buildings everywhere, there's concrete everywhere, there's power lines everywhere. Where do you see a lot in the inner city? Just a lot of space to plant trees to where you don't have to spend money busting up concrete, moving power lines around. You got to watch when you plant a tree, those roots grow big and long under the ground. And again, the maintenance and upkeep. The most black and brown communities with lower income, they do not generate the tax revenue equality as a lot of suburban and white communities.
All right.
Oh, my turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The thing is, when you're taking public funding, public money, it's not, and you don't discriminate one group of people. It's public funding. So it's not private funding, it's public funding. So the same service that you're providing public to this white area, you shouldn't be omitting from this black area. Like the report said, there's 100 years of historical data. We're dealing with 100 years of historical data here. That these areas are marginalized based on the data that's been given of redlining. The American Forest Industry, which is a government entity, said race is a stronger predictor of tree coverage than income. So it's not about the income, it's about race. Even when you have the same the economic status, there's still a gap of tree dispersion in the black community versus the white community. So to say, well, to bust these things up, well, it's public funding. You don't discriminate based on public funding. The public funding is public funding. regardless of what race you are, regardless of your economic standings. Public funding should be the same for everybody. That's my conclusion on that, my rebuttal.
Oh, my mic was off. All right. So Jason, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
Okay, so I guess we'll go to the next topic. Digital redlining.
I guess I'll go first this one.
All right. And for that, I will start the 4-minute timer.
No. It's 3 to 5 because I'm gonna need about 4.5 minutes on this.
Okay, go ahead. I got you.
All right. We ready? Let me know when we're ready.
Ooh, we ready.
Okay. All right. My opponent wants to talk about ROI, return on investment. In business math, but if a power company took your tax money to build a infrastructure and then ran electricity to the wealthy side of town while leaving your neighborhood in the dark, all while charging you the same monthly bill, you wouldn't call that a market decision. You call it a scam. That's exactly what digital redlining is. I'm gonna make 6 points. The first thing is the knowledge impact. The ISP, internet service providers, aren't guessing. They have the most advanced demographic and geographical data on Earth. They know exactly how skipping a neighborhood affects a community ability to access in 2026 Earth. The essentials like telehealth, online schooling, and remote jobs. Under the FCC 23-100, the commission notes that intent cannot be inferred when a provider has knowledge of discriminatory outcome but proceeds anyway. Choosing to leave a community behind while knowing it will cause economic stagnation isn't neutral. It is a calculated choice to sacrifice one group for the benefit of another. Second point, historical mirroring. If you look at the 1930s government maps used to keep Black and brown people from getting home loans, and then look at the 2026 ISP fiber map, they are almost identical. The markup report of 2022 and 24 and the NCRC tracing the legacy reports prove that ISPs are literally building on top of old racist maps. When your modern business plan perfectly matches a racist map from 90 years ago, it is not a coincidence. You are intentionally choosing to adopt the discrimination of the past as your business model for the future. Taxpayers' money, a public obligation. ISPs have taken billions of dollars in BEAD, broad equity access and deployment funding. Internet is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity, just like water, the water infrastructure. The evidence is 47 USC 1754, section 60506 of the Infrastructure Act. Mandates equal access, doesn't say equal access only if it's high in ROI, return on investment. Once you take the people's money, you have a public obligation to you don't get to take $1 billion worth of tax money and then tell us you don't have enough ROI to deserve the service we just paid for. Flat rate pricing. This is the smoking gun of intentionality. In redlining areas, people pay $70 a month for 25 Mbps, slow, outdated, which the rich neighborhood pays $70 a month for 1,000 Mbps, lightning fast. The markup found that this tier flattening rate in 38 major cities. If it were about cost, the slow service would be cheaper by charging the same price for the garbage service. The ISPs are literally stealing money from the poor to pay for fiber in the rich suburbs. That isn't a map. That's a shakedown. Masking language. The phrases like network optimization, technical feasibility to hide discrimination, the discrimination. This evidence is evident in FCC 23-100, pages 102 through 106. The FCC specifically warns that feasibility cannot be used as a blanket excuse to bypass protected groups. Such thing as it's not profitable. That language is not acceptable. the fancy words to hide the fact that they are picking winners and losers based on zip codes. Technically feasible usually just means we don't want to work in them areas. I didn't get to finish, but go ahead. I'm gonna respect the time.
All right, Jason, it is your go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
So my opponent claims that digital redlining is not it's intentional. Okay, so of course redlining in the 1930, when they drew the red line around the maps and said, hey, these black communities, we're not going to even give them loans or insurance at all. All right, this is not 1930. This is 2026. You know, they have two. You said that it's not an excuse. You said, how'd you word that? Oh, you said that language is not acceptable. Yes, it is. The language is acceptable in the court of law in today's court. The language became acceptable in 1971 with the Griggs versus Duke Power Company, 41 U.S. The Duke Power Company's Dan River Steam Station in North Carolina historical restricted black employees to its lowest paying labor department. After the Civil Rights Act made this over segregation illegal, Duke Power implemented new requirements. Employees seeking transfer out of the labor department needed a high school diploma and a passing score on two standard aptitude tests. These requirements appeared race neutral on their face. Not policy said black employees cannot advance, but the effects were stark. According to the 1960 census, 34% of white males in North Carolina had a high school diploma compared to only 18% of black males. On the aptitude test, 58% of the whites passed compared to 6% of the blacks. The Supreme Court, in its opinion delivered by Chief Justice Warren Burger, held that Title VII prescribes only overt discrimination, but also practices that are fair in form, but discriminatory in operation. The court famously stated that Congress has now provided that tests or criteria of employment or promotion may not provide equality of opportunity merely in the sense of the fabled offered milk to the stork and the fox. The ruling established that employment practices that produce discriminatory outcomes, keyword there, outcomes, are unlawful unless the employer can demonstrate they are justified by business necessity and are reasonable measure of job performance. This was the birth of disparate impact. If y'all look it up, there's two types of discrimination that the court recognized. They recognized disparate treatment and disparate impact. If you go to the Wells Fargo case of 2012, where Wells Fargo was directing their workers to direct black and Hispanic minorities to the higher interest rate loans, the court found that that was what they call disparate impact, where they specifically targeted a protected group of people. All right, that fall under discrimination, but the court used the term disparate impact. Now, in the Redfin case, it had a neutral policy where Redfin didn't want to roll out their full package to homeowners that's under a certain amount of the homeowners a certain amount of value of their home, and the court ruled that was not intentional. The disparate treatment is an intentional discrimination targeting a protected group of people. Disparate impact is what was ruled in the Redfin case. In the Redfin case of 2020, it said that this was disparate impact. It was not intentional to target a protected group of people, but it was just a neutral policy for because of the money. They spending the same amount of resources to service the lower income houses, and then Redfin didn't see they got put a policy where they wasn't making no money there, so it was all about the money. And the court ruled that was disparate impact because it was only discrimination based on the fact that how it impacted people, but their intent was it's not considered intentional in the court's eyes.
All right.
Well, every court case is not going to show intent. Like the FCC says, like the FCC 23-100, the impact if it creates a discriminatory practice, if it shows a discriminatory results, it's considered discriminatory. You know, once again, if you're getting charged the same price for less capable ISP service. You have you have the state of California, which is one of the largest as far as population. You have the state of New York, which is one of the highest populated states with the biggest city as far as population. Even in the state of Illinois, which has Chicago, those governors have all mandated stuff as redlining. Digital redlining is a real problem. It is here. The state of Texas, Greg Abbott, House Bill number 9, has identified that redlining is real, and they've put an infrastructure in place to oppose the digital redlining practices that are going on, even in the state of Texas. House Bill number 9. Redlining, digital internet access is not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity, like water and electricity. I close my rebuttal.
So Jason, do you believe that Wi-Fi is a necessity?
I'll give you a rebuttal. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. This argument is not about whether Wi-Fi is a necessity or not. The argument is about, is it intentional racism? In the rural white community, has the same issue. They don't receive the same broadband and fiber optics and all that we do in the city. So is that race-based too? No, it's about the dollar. These are private companies. They don't see a return on their investment to go out there in a rural area where there's only a minimum amount of people and invest all that money they got to do to put the infrastructure in, you know, the internet, cell phone towers, all these things they got to do with fiber optics. That costs millions and millions, if not billions of dollars to go out there and put all that infrastructure in just to get a handful of customers, a small return on their investment. They're losing money. So if it was a race thing, they'll have the best internet out there, way out in the country in the woods. If it's just a handful of houses out there in rural white community, they'll have the best internet just like everybody else do. But no, these companies do not wake up in the morning and say, let me go see how we can hold black and Mexican people down today. No, they wake up in the morning and see, okay, let's see how we can protect our bottom line. Just like the court ruled in the Redfin case. They said it was a neutral policy without intent to target a protected group of people. It was about the bottom line. For the resources and the money it cost them to roll out the red carpet for a potential client, they have to get a return on their investment on their commission on the sales. But if your house is worth $80,000 and they spending ABC worth of dollars in the way they do their system, then they losing money over there. So Redfin was like, hey, listen, if your house ain't worth at least $200,000, or whatever, $250,000, whatever the number was, yeah, you're only getting this amount of package. You're getting the smaller package, which requires less resources from us. It's all about the dollar. Nobody's waking up in the morning saying, hey, let's see if we can hold these people down today. If they was making the same amount of money, it's just like the Walmart thing. You go in there, you see certain things locked up in Walmart. I seen a video the other day. Lady seen the black hair cosmetic products locked up in Walmart. Right next to it in the cabinet right next to the cabinet that was locked up, they had all the products that normally marketed to white people on the shelf. Okay, and somebody took Walmart to court for that too, but Walmart ended up selling out of court because
30 seconds.
But the court would have found disparate impact. That would have been the finding, just like Redfin, because they would have found that Walmart's claim was that that's the area where they was having the most theft. It ain't got nothing to do with they wanted to, they felt like black people were thieves or they wanted black people to have to go ask for somebody to get the key. It's all about the money. So that's what systematic discrimination does exist, but it's not always intentional racism. You got two types of discrimination that the court recognizes: the intentional and unintentional. And the legal term for it is disparate treatment is the intentional, and disparate impact is unintentional.
All right. Somebody asked a question. How is that happening when the government gave the internet companies to go out and do that?
I guess he's trying to say that sometimes the government do subsidize these private companies. Again, that supports my point. Why would the government have to subsidize these companies if they weren't losing money to go to marginalized communities to invest and put the infrastructure in there?
Can I respond to that, Jason?
Go ahead.
What you just said?
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
When you take government money, I guess you missed the part where it says they're taking government money. These private, you lose the veil of being a private entity when you take public money. You missed the part where it says they take public money. When you take taxpayers' dollars, you don't get the option to say it's not profitable. It's the ROI, return on investment. You took government money. So once you take government money, all bets off. And they took government money.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir.
What?
Sean, that's not always true. Just because a government will step in and subsidize, and so that's why it's called subsidize. They not financing everything you're doing. They're trying to partner just to help out the community, because otherwise it's just like certain school districts have nicer things and better things than other school districts. Why? And what is that based on? It's based on the tax revenue that the school district, that the city, the school tax, that they take in on the school taxes. Ain't no different, brothers. Always, no matter what you say, it's gonna come back to the money. These people don't get no benefit because these are the private companies. They don't get no benefit. They all about the bottom line. They don't get no benefit for wake up in the morning. They trying to make money. It's a company. It's internet, cell phone, Walmart. They trying to make money. They ain't getting up in the morning thinking about you. They thinking about how they can get in your pocket. They ain't thinking about the color of your skin. All this stuff is based on money. That's why the court had started in 1971, recognized another type of discrimination, because they realized that not all these. Notice I said in 1971, because you going back to 1930 to redlining. When they drew the red line around the map, not saying that racism, some of it is racism, just like a Wells Fargo thing in 2012. So that was race motivated. So it still happens, but as the court has recognized, that it's not racially motivated every time you see an inequality as an impact.
No, I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you, but we're talking about this specific situation. I totally agree with you on that.
What specific information?
The digital redlining situation. I agree. Everything is, and you get no rebuttal from me on that. You're 100% correct. But it's digital redlining is a new thing, so our government is trying to play catch up to what's been done. Really, because they still have legislation in place in Congress right now that they're trying to pass. No, everything isn't. But like I said, once again, when you take government and public funding, you lose the I'm a private entity. When your pricing points are the same for inferior service, the slower service as it is for the more superior service, that's intentional. That's intentional. And then in these other areas, when you're building it, you're using, where are you putting this stuff at? You're building it on public streets, public poles, everywhere you putting it, and you can't omit the public out of the equation. You're taking public funds, you're using the public infrastructure. Our government has said, because they gave them, like, I don't know, billions of dollars to put in place, and they put internet and broadband in the same category as water and electricity. So it's no longer a luxury item. It's a necessity item at this point in America. Go ahead.
Okay, you say that, but at the end of the day, was it what was it now? What's it called now? You got Frontier. What's the other one?
Now you got probably a million of them now. You probably got a ton of them.
All of them are still. Uh, um, they're still private companies. You know, they at the end of the day, they're in there to make money. You can't discount that. They're in there to make money. So the government does not completely take over just because they're willing to subsidize marginalized areas. They're not in there, but do they partner with them sometimes? Yes, because you said sometimes they use public areas and sometimes they don't. It's like some cell phone towers. You know, sometimes you got some property and a cell phone company will pay you to sit one of their towers on your property. So these people are in business. So that doesn't change. I'm ready for the next topic.
Yeah, we can move forward. To close it down.
Yeah, because
Who goes first? Who goes first on this round? Was it me or you, Jason?
What was the
1%. The wealthy paying their fair share of taxes.
Do the rich top 5% pay their fair share of taxes? Yes.
Who goes first on that? Was it me or you, Jason?
I think this one is Jason go first on this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Hold on. You get so many topics.
But yeah, do the top 5%. Yeah, that is a good topic. You know, but I mean,
Hold on, man.
oh, no, not 5 minutes. Okay, cool. Let me know when you're ready. Okay.
Go ahead, man.
Let's go. All right, you're on the clock.
All right, my spiel is, and all of these arguments that we have today, they stem from the same place. At the end of the day, my opponent has a victim mindset. All right, what does that mean? That means his first thought when he sees something that looks like inequality, right? He want to be a victim. He say, okay, somebody's doing this to me. All right, they targeting me, and it's the same thing with this argument with the rich not paying their fair share of taxes. It's the digital the trees and the digital redlining was the white man holding the debt back mentality. They trying to keep me down, suppress me. All right, and then this one is the rich people getting over on us, man, and they're holding it down, putting their foot, they stepping over us to get up to the top. Okay, there's that kind of mentality. That's where all these arguments is coming from. They all come from the same place. My opponent once said that they need to the government need to start making these billionaires pay pay taxes on their business loans. Okay, he said because they got $1 billion in assets. That ain't got nothing to do with it. There's no law to say you got to pay taxes on the loan. And so I asked my opponent one day, when he said that, I said, hey, don't you have a business? He said, yes. I said, have you ever taken out a business loan? He said, yes. I said, did you pay taxes on that business loan? He said, no. I said, okay, then why you want the billionaire to pay taxes on his business loan? That don't make sense, right? So he said, well, I don't have assets. I said, you do have assets. But he said, but I don't have billions of dollars with assets. I'm going to get billions of dollars with assets then. Why you hating on them billionaires? Listen, when I said we had argument, I said, man, add it up all together, and the rich people pay more in taxes combined than all the rest of people combined. The top 10% of earners pay upwards of 75% of the U.S. Federal taxes. The top 5% of earners pay upwards to 61% of the federal taxes. If that ain't your fair share, I don't know what is. That's like the top 1% pay 40% of U.S. taxes. If you're saying they not paying their fair share, and they only 1% of the population, they paying 40% of the bills, that's like 100 of us getting together and saying, oh, we're going to do this project. It's 100 of us. We all going to pitch in and pay for it. And then you got one guy, he can say, hey, man, I make a little bit more money than the rest of y'all, man. I tell you what, I'm going to pay 40% of the cost to do this project. And then the other 60%, all of y'all, the other 99 of y'all split that other 60% and y'all pay for that. And what this is like is when him saying the rich man ain't paying their fair share of taxes. The 1% of billionaires not paying their fair share of taxes. That's like those people saying, those 99 people saying that one guy that decided to pay 40% of the bill. That's like them saying he ain't paying his fair share. He one man. Just because he make more money than y'all don't mean he got to pay the same percentage of his income as y'all. That's why they say that they putting up loopholes. They're going through loopholes and all this kind of stuff. There is no loopholes in the tax code. That's a myth. There are tax codes and incentives in the tax codes for people like that. People that create businesses. People that make that kind of money. There's incentives in place for a reason, so they won't be having to pay as much money. It's just like I said that later, but yeah, they pay way more of our bills than we do combined in the whole country. 1%. I mean, imagine that. 100 of y'all get together to pay, and y'all can put y'all money together to pay for a project. One guy says, okay, I make a little bit more money than y'all, so I'll pay 40% of it by myself. The other 60% of the y'all 99 of y'all split that money. And then y'all 99 sitting around talking about he ain't paying his fair share because he got money. That's how ridiculous that sounds. Go ahead.
All right. Whitlow, it's your turn.
All right, my opponent will tell you that 1% pays 40% of all income taxes. But here's the trick. For the 1% income is a choice. For you, it isn't. When a teacher or a truck driver gets a paycheck, the government takes their cut before their worker even sees the money. That is a sacrifice of their survival. For the 1%, taxes are just a math problem they pay lawyers to solve. Fairness isn't about size of the check. It's about whether you are contributing the same percentage of your pile as the people who keep the country running. The buy, borrow, and die magic trick. The 1% stay rich by using a strategy called the buy, borrow, and die. They buy assets like Tesla or Amazon stock. They never sell it, so they never pay income tax. Instead, they borrow millions of dollars against that stock and at a tiny interest rates to live a life of luxury. To the IRS, a loan isn't income, so they pay $0 in taxes while spending millions. Finally, they die and their heirs get the wealth with a tax reset that wipes out the bill forever. Warren Buffett famously said his secretary pays a higher tax than he does. He's right. She's taxed on her work while he is barely taxed on his wealth. A system that taxes the person sweeping the floor more than the person who owns the building is not a fair system. The job creator myth. We are told we must give 1% tax breaks because they create jobs. But let's look at what's happening right now in 2026. Companies like Amazon and Block have enjoyed years of incentives, yet they just slashed thousands of jobs. Block recently cut nearly half of its workforce, 4,000 people, claiming they can now use AI to do the work. Amazon cut 30,000 corporate roles in the same reason. These billionaires are taking the tax breaks we give them to create jobs, using the money to buy technology that eliminates jobs. They are breaking their end of the deal. Who pays for the foundation? The 1% use our roads to deliver their packages, our schools to train their workers, and our military to protect their global investment. Yet by using loans instead of income, they avoid paying for the very foundation they stand on. In 2026, the top 100% owns 32% of everything in America, but they treat the tax code like an optional donation. If you benefit the most from America's system, you should be first in line to support it, not the most creative in escaping it. We don't want to punish success. We want to stop a system where the wealthy get out of tax-free card when a billionaire can live off loans for $0 in taxes while firing workers who made him rich. The fair share argument is over. It's time for them to be taxed on the pile, not the paycheck.
Man. So my question is, would y'all say it that the rich should be expected to pay a bigger percentage of what they earn than the average person just because they're rich?
Jason, now you're rebutting. Go ahead, Jay. You asking for both of us a response
Yeah,
to that? Cool
yeah,
reviews.
I'm asking both of y'all response
It's
to that.
not. It's not necessarily that you're asking more. That they're reporting. I mean, you got people like Warren Buffett that says his second. That's not my opinion. Warren Buffett said my secretary pays more in taxes than I do. Jason said there's no loophole. Donald Trump during a debate. Donald Trump, during a debate with Hillary Clinton, said out of his own mouth, "I take advantage of the tax loopholes."
No,
So he said that during a debate.
Okay,
Uh,
Jason.
he said I take advantage of the tax code. He didn't say loophole. And that's what I'm telling you. You got a right to take advantage of these same tax codes that the rich are doing. But you too busy around trying to count their pockets. You talking about they use the same road, this and that. If these people have created innovation, cell phones, internet, Amazon, Starlink, Tesla, all these people have created innovation and things that made our life better and more comfortable for us. And all you can think about is how to get them to pay more money. And a lot of and you don't, you can't even tell me I asked you when you first talked about that day. I asked you what you gonna do if they do start paying their fair share. What you gonna do? What you gonna do then? What does that do for you? You couldn't answer the question. So and these people donate millions of dollars. You know, they donate millions of dollars to all kind of organizations, different causes. Whether and I know what you're gonna say. All they use for a write-off. That's all right. The people are benefiting from them donating millions of dollars to all these nonprofit organizations and different things like that. At the end of the day, it don't matter how you spend it. You say they're not paying no taxes, but then what the data said. The data says that they're paying the majority of the taxes. 10% of the highest owners pay 70, almost 75% of the U.S. bills. 5% pay 61% of the U.S. bills. There is no way for you to get around that number. The 1% pays for 1%. That's like one man paying for 40% of what 100 people are supposed to be paying for. You can't. And there's nothing you can say to get around that number. And as far as y'all want them to pay the same percentage y'all pay, pay the same percentage y'all pay. Once you start making over a certain amount of money, once you got a certain amount of money, there's incentives and write-offs. Why? Because it's not fair. Just because I do well for myself, for me to make this amount of money, it's fair for them to get them incentives and write-offs, to cap it off. For example, it's just like some states have a cap on child support. What we look like saying, man, like Texas is 20% for one child, right? For the first child. What does it look? What we look like saying? Hold up, man. Them dudes with the cap need to be paying 20%. I don't care if they are millionaires. That's just hating. You make so much money. The cost of living to raise a child don't require for you to pay $25,000, $50,000 a month in child support. At the Texas Attorney General official site, Chapter 154 of the Texas Family Code, Section 154.125, as of September 1st, 2025, the child support cap was increased from $9,200 to $11,700 based on cost of living increase. So in the state of Texas, if a man makes, if 20% of his income was $25,000 a month, he don't have to pay $25,000 a month. He only has to pay $11,700. But a man that makes less money, if 20% income is $500, he's going to pay $500, right? Which is nowhere near what the man paying $11,700 is paying. So are you saying that the cap on that child support ain't fair to the guy that's paying $500? That's my question for Sean.
Well, I was answering the question that Cool Reviews asked. First of all, you asked me what would happen. I did answer you. I said we don't know what would happen. Let's do it because we don't know.
Answer me if you don't know.
No. I did answer it. I said we don't know what will happen. That's the first thing. And again, you said you made the comment that they're innovating. They're providing innovative yada yada yada. That spiel. Did you not see what companies are also doing? First of all, they're getting tax incentives to bring these companies to those areas, to bring jobs. Like you said, to bring jobs, they're getting incentive, they're getting tax breaks, they're getting all of those things. In turn, they're firing employees and bringing AI to replace them. You can't get around that. So we're giving you incentives to bring these companies to provide jobs, but then you turn around like Block just did last week, and you replace 40% of your work staff. Amazon, you got Amazon that laid off 30,000 people. You have Tesla, where people are going into work and their key code's not working. So yeah, they're bringing jobs, but they're not replacing them with humans. They're replacing them with AI. You can't get around that. And again, I'm not arguing about whether or not what they're doing is legal. We all know it's legal, but is it fair? I go back to the fair statement. Is it fair? So it's not about whether or not it's legal. I have no dog in that fight. But when you got a person like Warren Buffett that says my secretary out of his own mouth pays more in taxes than I do, when you got people like Michael Bloomberg who files taxes and pays $0 in federal taxes, when you got people like Jeff Bezos who's filing taxes and paying $0 in taxes, when you got people like Elon Musk who's paying $0 in taxes, you call that fair? I don't think nobody's going to call that fair. That's not fair. Is it legal? Yes, it's legal, but it's not fair.
Sorry, brother.
Go ahead.
Okay, all the people you named, they have some years where they pay where they don't pay where they pay $0 in taxes. They pay $0 in federal income taxes, but their businesses pay a lot of taxes. At the end of the day, you can't get around the fact that they pay all the bills. They pay majority of the bills. You sound like them 99 people complaining about the guy that paid for 40% of the project not paying his fair share. But that's not logical. But what I want you to do is answer my question. Is it fair for that guy to have a cap on his child support?
I don't know what you said about child support. I'm not,
Well, let me say it again.
we're not having a child,
No,
this is not a child support
This is
conversation.
part. No. You can't tell me how I'm gonna bring my point across. I just asked you a
Well,
question. Do you think?
about
Because
child
to
support.
me, it relates to the same thing. This guy makes so much money that they have to cap his child support. Do you think there's a problem with that?
Do I think there's a problem with what? Capping child support?
With them having a cap on child support after you make so much money?
I don't know. I didn't prepare to talk about child support.
And we're
So
not
I
talking
don't
about
know.
child support. We're talking about rich people, right, paying their fair share. So do
Right.
you think the guy that got a cap on his child support is paying his fair share? If 20% for one guy is 500,
I would
20%
have to,
I'm giving
I
you
would have
example.
to, I would have to
No.
research that.
No, it ain't about child support. It's about the rich person paying his fair share. Do you
Right.
think the guy that paid $500 because that's 20% of his income, and the other guy, $25,000 is 20% of his income, but the state is only requiring him to pay $11,700. Do you think it's fair for the guy with the money not to pay the 20% of his income? Do you think that's fair?
I don't know about child support, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, it's the same with
I have
taxes.
no rebuttal. I have no answer for child support. I'm talking about taxes.
No, you're talking about someone paying a fair share. It's
Right.
the same
Fair
concept.
share of taxes, not child support. Fair share of taxes.
He don't want to answer y'all because he know I got
Right.
him right
Fair share of taxes.
there. He know I got him right there, so he don't want to answer.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm done, bro. I think Sean did a real good job. He hit me
Hey,
with
and
stuff.
Jason, like I said, I want to reiterate. Me and Jason did this. It's more or less about putting out the information, knowledge, and awareness. That's basically it. And it's up to you all to decide, which one y'all lean to, and research the information that both sides put out.
Yeah, y'all watch the video again. Take your time out and watch it. And I hope y'all learned something today about how things work. And y'all learned a couple new words and phrases and got some information. That was why I'm doing it, to
Right.
put some information out there.
So before we wrap up quickly, how do y'all feel about the elections? And do either one of y'all think Jasmine Crockett actually had a chance to win?
I don't think she did.
Yeah, in Dallas.
Well, I don't think she did. So her losing, it didn't surprise me. And if she did win, I don't believe she would have won in the next phase going up against a Republican candidate. So no, I'm not surprised at all.
Okay. And do y'all think that Texas will ever go blue?
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, because I see a progression and influx of ignorant people, and I think that the ignorant people are multiplying rapidly. So I think it probably could turn blue.
I'm not. Do I think it could turn blue? Quite possibly so, but I'm not going to blame it on ignorance. I'm not going to blame it on ignorance. So is he right about the possibility of it to turn blue? Yeah, that's quite possibly so, but not based on ignorance. I'm gonna give the people more. I'm gonna give the people more credit than that.
Let me preference. I'm not gonna give them more credit because let me preference. When I say the word ignorant, I mean lack of knowledge. That's the
Right.
dictionary definition of
And
ignorance.
right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Lack of knowledge.
Right.
Well, man,
So
I think
even with that said, like again, and I'm solely using it based on the dictionary word of ignorance. I'm going to give the people more credit than that. That there it's
I'm not.
not going to be because of ignorance that they'll do it.
I'm not. It'll be because of ignorance. If we basing on today's current Democratic Party, the way they operate today and the way they think today, and then if they go blue, it's got ignorance.
well, it's been a great
And that's
debate,
been
man.
nice. That's saying it the nice way, the lack of knowledge.
Okay. Somebody said, which is completely wrong, but less educated people vote Republican.
That's a whole nother debate right there. You mean people with less degrees vote Republican? Is that what you're saying?
That's what somebody said. Less educated people vote Republican.
I know who that is, Tim. Because people gauge education based on how many degrees you got, or if you got a degree or not. But have you seen these videos lately where they at these colleges asking them 5th grade questions and they can't answer?
Yeah.
You see how many all these people that purchase their degrees, So I know a lot. Sean, you got a degree?
No,
You.
no, no.
I know Sean way more intelligent than a lot of people I know that got degrees.
Man,
No,
look,
I
So
agree.
that has nothing to do. When you say educated, you mean so that's a false statement. Now, when you say because you can be self-educated.
yeah.
So, but nobody can track that.
I mean, I just see. I think for me with politicians, I'm just not a big fan of politicians. Period. I'm not saying that I think they have a good when they are initiated into the process, but as they go on and they see how it's ran and see how things are, I think they change. I think their intent initially is from a good place, but once they're in there and they've been in there for a while, I think that intent changes. I think that's what I believe.
And to further address what Tim said about the less educated people vote Republican. No, the people with more degrees vote Democratic because the people that go to college, they get indoctrinated with liberal views. Because majority of colleges, now you can research that, the majority of colleges are a hub for liberal thinking. So that's why they vote Democratic, not because they smarter. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to go to college to get the degree, okay, and you being educated on based on how many who got degrees, then it makes sense for the more educated people vote Democratic because why? Majority of colleges, you can look that up, or a liberal or a hub for to be liberal ideologies.
Well, I think the degree process is going to be, and we can talk about this in depth down the road. But AI is real, and degrees are not going to have the same magnitude, the same thumbprint that it once had. Once AI become more and more relevant and more advanced, I think I see AI being a replacement, and I really see universal. And we've kind of briefly talked on it. Universal income becoming more of a reality in the future. I see those two things becoming more and more of a reality. So,
Well, with that being said, man, I think we had a good debate tonight, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we about to wrap it up. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, man. And hey, we here every Wednesday.
every Wednesday. See y'all next Wednesday.
See y'all next
All right,
Wednesday.
man. Good job on the debate, Sean. You were
All right,
definitely
same to you,
well
Jason.
prepared.
Same to you. Same to you, Cool Reviews. I'm gonna have to give me a mic, Jason.
Yeah, you were definitely well prepared tonight.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you. And wait, real quick. I want to shout you out, man, for giving us this opportunity to do this thing, man. You do a great job, and and I want to pat you on the back and appreciate you also, because you are very heavily involved in this process, and I just want to take time out to thank you, and I say I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all. I'm just here trying to learn something.
And for your platform, man.
Oh yeah, shoot, man. Hey, y'all be teaching me something.
I'll be telling people to go to your platform, check you out.
Heck yeah, we dropping Pop the Balloon, Dallas edition. I think tomorrow. So y'all, hey, everybody tuning in. Hey, go to Balloon Pop DFW on YouTube. Balloon Pop DFW. We will be dropping our first full episode tomorrow. And we out.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you. All right, Jason.
All right, Sean.
All right.
Welcome to the Cool Reviews. Step into the scene where the voices stay loud and the vibes stay clean. Talking sports, love, life, what's making the news. If it's happening right now, it's on the Cool Reviews. Welcome to the Cool Reviews. Yeah, we bringing the truth from the streets to the screen, giving game to